MediGroup Physician Services presents MediGroup's Frank's Fast Five with Healthcare Executives, produced by Bridget Wilson and Carrie Peters. Today's guest is Chris Cummings, Corporate Account Director for DJO LLC. Now here's your host, MediGroup's Frank Gillespie.
Well, welcome once again to another edition of MediGroup's Frank's Fast Five with Healthcare Executives. We're here today, and I have the pleasure of being here today with Mr. Chris Cummings, Corporate Accounts Manager with DJO. Chris, welcome.
Thank you, Frank. It's great to be here. Appreciate the invitation.
Absolutely, and it's really an honor for me, and as we touched on right before I hit the record button, you and I have communicated for a number of years over the phone and done different kinds of business together. This is the first time I've ever got to meet you and see you in person, so this is really an honor for me.
I appreciate it. I know it's funny. It kind of goes with the day and age we've been living in. We're meeting virtually, for the first time. It's like we've been used to the last year and a half or so.
It's really true. And these platforms, thank goodness, have at least allowed people to stay at least within eye contact to one another. So, but there's nothing better than being able to meet in person. That's for sure. So, Chris, my first question for you today is, how long have you been in this role for DJO?
Great question, Frank. I've been fortunate to be in this role for about 11 years. As you can imagine, it's kind of transitioned over the time as DJO has grown. It started out as a bracing and supports company with primarily external DME products. And over the years, as money has been invested into the company and different ownership has come in, we've gotten into surgical implantable devices, some foot and ankle areas, some lower extremity and some upper extremity, small joint areas, as well as diabetic shoes, some physical therapy. And we're looking at growing in our bone growth stimulator area as well. So it's been a vast, diverse, and growing part of a wonderful opportunity here.
Well, lots of moving parts and all good for our members within MediGroup and other groups as well. So that's fantastic. That's why we like working with you folks. So Chris, as a corporate account manager, obviously question number 2 with DJO, what do you specifically do for DJO and its customers?
Yeah, great question. So I'm fortunate to work with larger organizations that need more of a corporate responsibility, a corporate liaison that covers multiple areas. As you can imagine, it'll deal with the clinical side of things with working with the products, but as well as dealing with pricing structures, legal reviews, and making sure supply chain is up and running and in a manner that meets the needs of all the relationships that we have. As we come together collectively, having this position available really is a value add to make sure there's one individual that all areas can go to and kind of be that quarterback and making sure the plays get implemented and fulfilled in a manner that is pleasing to both parties.
It makes perfect sense. And DJO, has always been a company that follows up well and has that reputation of following up. So we've experienced that in what you just said, and we appreciate that very much here on the member side of things. So Chris, question number 3, are you seeing changes in any modifications you had to make during the pandemic now that the vaccine has started to have an impact?
Yeah, I would say the primary changes we've seen with that vaccination having an impact is especially in the sports medicine side of things and with what is usually referred to as elective surgeries. A lot of the products that we manufacture and the individuals that we work with in healthcare are around elective surgeries. And so more and more of our customers are diversifying and going out and finding areas such as ambulatory surgery centers that they can perform these surgeries in when the hospital or the acute setting may be getting overwhelmed, taking care of other ancillary things that either the pandemic has caused or just through natural wear and tear on our mortal bodies.
Understood. Makes sense. Chris, question number 4, moving right along here. What is one emerging care trend that you see impacting the health system supply chain today? And that's probably kind of a loaded question based on what we're hearing in the news about the ships and the ports and that type of stuff. But
no, and a perfect example, at least especially from a corporate level perspective, it's been availability, whether it's of raw materials, finished goods, any type of supplies getting out there. And then it seems to be inflation. We're seeing a lot of areas just being impacted with a price increase. And it's the whole gamut of the industry that we're involved with. And I'm sure it deals with everything from shipping and receiving products to manufacturing products and the implementation and use of those products in the end user facilities that are taking place. So from the standpoint of having the raw materials available to make the products, getting then the products available, and then how are we managing and dealing with what is an appropriate price out in the marketplace these days.
And that's probably a totally moving target with all these different changing parameters that you just spoke about and that we're experiencing. And while we don't like to think of it this way, it does sound like it's a perfect storm of all these things that have come together to kind of create this and cause it to burgeon a little bit. So it's something that we're all going to have to stay close to and watch and have to deal with together. So so you're seeing it too. I understand. So Chris, our last question, I told you this would go fast. Does DJO have any new and exciting products or therapies you would like to tell us about as we wrap things up here?
Yeah, we're always looking at what we call new product innovations, and any particular therapy or product that is out there from our standpoint continues to be advancements in a lot of the protocols and products that are currently available, just making them lighter weight, more accessible, patient friendly, clinician friendly, so that when the product is needed, whether it's in a rehabilitation standpoint or in a surgical procedure, we're getting better at using them. The patients are being more compliant in using them, and therefore everybody wins. That we get a healthier patient, a healthier individual quickly out there so that they can be enjoying their lives. And it's a really rewarding part of the job.
A nice continuum of care there, right there from your folks at DJO. Chris, yeah. I can't tell you how much I thank you for doing this. I know we had a couple of starts and stops because of busy schedules on both sides, and I honestly am honored that we made it happen today. And again, it's nice to meet you in person, and I appreciate your time. Thank you very, very much. You did a great job.
Humbled to be asked to do this. I appreciate it too. Have a great day.
Okay, you too. We'll talk to you soon, Chris.
Bye, Frank.
Bye-bye.
This has been MediGroup's Frank's Fast Five with Healthcare Executives, produced by Bridget Wilson and Carrie Peters, and hosted by Frank Gillespie. Special thanks to Chris Cummings, Corporate Account Director for DJO LLC. This has been a presentation of MediGroup Physician Services.